In today's video, we are going to discuss 3 red flags in a relationship. Now, these red flags show you that something is severely wrong in the relationship. And oftentimes, these red flags are present, but we make so many excuses. We tell ourselves it's a phase, it's a rough patch, they're just really busy. But if it's these 3 and they're showing up in your relationship, then you have to really consider to either get professional help or perhaps end the relationship. Now, these red flags are for men and women. So if you're seeing this in your relationship and you're watching this video, this might be the sign that something needs to be fixed. Something might be broken. Let's get started. That first red flag is if you're in a relationship with someone and they're no longer generous with their time or energy. So maybe initially they messaged you a lot, they put a lot of energy and intent into the relationship, and then when they start withdrawing and you can't point to any other reason why, it shows that they've lost interest or they've lost connection or attachment. So think about yourself. When you really care about something, you're going to put energy towards it, right? If you love a plant and you really care about this plant, you're going to continue to water it. And that's how we are with relationships. But if we're in a relationship with someone and we don't want to talk to them, when we don't want to make plans with them, when texting them back feels like it takes a lot of energy, then that's a huge red flag. And if you're dating someone and you feel like they were really, really present and then they've fallen back, that's a sign that something's not working. Now, it is not your job in any relationship to prove that you're worthy to be given time and energy. So if you're in a relationship with someone and they're pulling back, you have to have a conversation. You have to point it out and try to get an explanation. Now, there's very few reasons I think it's really valid to pull away. If they've lost someone really close to them, that's a very, very real reason. Maybe they're in grief, they're suffering, they feel depressed. In that case, it is expected that they're not going to give you or the relationship as much time and energy. But especially if you've been dating for more than 6 months and that there hasn't been a death, don't let work be a reason. Work is not a reason, because when you're really interested in someone, no matter how busy you are at work, you can always take time to message someone. If you are in a relationship and you feel like you want to withdraw and pull back time, affection, and energy, you have to ask why. And if you acknowledge that you are, is it something going on inside? Is it something going on with the relationship? And can something happen so you feel like you're able to put energy back into the relationship? So that's red flag number 1. Red flag number 2 is when you're with someone and they will not talk about the future with you. So many people I've worked with, if they're dating in a kind of fresh relationship, maybe, early on to 6 months, and the person that they're dating suggests attending a wedding that's a year away in the future, that is a signpost that the relationship is headed in the right direction, that that person is interested, that they're willing to commit to the idea of being together in a year. So the inverse is true. If someone cannot talk about the future with you, it shows you that their mind can't see you in their future. Maybe their heart can't see you in the future. So if you're in a relationship and they won't talk to you about the next 3 months or the next 6 months or the next year, that indicates that there's a problem, that something's not flowing. Now, what's not working, what's not flowing, there might be a ton of reasons. But that's why I say if this red flag presents itself, You have to work it out. You have to figure out what it is and if it can be fixed. Maybe a good conversation will fix it. Maybe therapy will fix it. Maybe leaving the relationship will fix it. The third red flag is if you're in a relationship and they don't want to commit to you. Now, first 6 months, not everyone's going to want to commit within that time frame. I do think once you reach a certain age and in your 30s and definitely older, you kind of know what you want. And if you are clear that you want to commit to someone and they're not clear if they want to commit to you, that might be an indicator that you're just not on the same page. And so your job isn't to convince someone to commit to you. Your job is to protect your own heart, connect to your self-worth, and know what you want and what you deserve. If you're willing to commit to someone and they're not willing to commit to you, then you have to ask yourself, am I willing to be patient to see if they will commit to me? And if I'm doing that, can I still connect to my own self-worth? Because what happens is when we feel like we need to persuade someone to commit to us, we start getting insecure. We feel less love for ourselves because we're trying to answer the question of why aren't we good enough? Why won't they commit? And the truth is, some people just don't want to commit, and some people don't want to commit to us. Maybe the chemistry is wrong, or the connection is bad, or maybe it just doesn't fit, and they know that. So if you've been in a relationship with someone more than 6 months and they don't want to commit to you, then there needs to be some evaluation as to why. Maybe that other person needs to heal. Maybe they have some wounds and they're afraid to commit. If that's the case, then you're going to see that action on them. They're going to say, I want to figure this out, and so let me do my own work. It's going to be really clear. But if someone repeatedly can't move forward in their commitment and they're doing nothing to help it or to work with it or to understand it, then that's a red flag that indicates, again, something needs to be looked at. Something needs to be shifted. So those are 3 red flags to look for. Is someone willing to be generous with their time and energy? Is someone willing to talk about the future with you? And is someone willing to commit to you, even if it's not forever? If one of these flags shows up in your relationship, you can still fix it, you can heal it, you can course correct it. It's not that the relationship's broken or you have to leave it immediately. It just shows that you need to proceed with caution, that you need to be really considerate, that you need to connect to your self-worth and your self-love and be able to question why someone isn't willing to talk with you, to commit to you, to give you time and energy. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and I'll see you next time.